Hi.
You're a little late on the words there, Collin.
Yikes. All right. Today's episode is a little different. No guest, no experts, except for us, no
Yeah.
perfectly polished conversation. It's just me and Justin trying to figure out what in the world is happening online right now. Because somehow the internet has turned into an 8 billion person group chat where everybody's angry. Everybody's branding themselves. Follow good times, bad friends. Nobody reads the article. And somehow every single week, we all collectively decide to care about something and something completely insane for about 36 hours, 7 hours. And honestly, we're probably part of the problem too. Today, we're talking about viral culture, internet trends, headline chaos, fake experts, not us, culturated identities, and how that's not how you say that word, and how social media somehow made boredom feel like an emergency. This episode is supposed to be funny, you be the judge, but there's also probably some truth in it that'll make us uncomfortable. So if you enjoy conversations about culture, life, sports, faith, leadership, guests that don't end up showing so we audible, or just trying to survive the algorithm, make sure to follow the show on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and share this episode. Go ahead and rate the podcast. We know you listen every week.
5 stars
The
all the
rating
time.
helps, the comments help kind of push us up a little bit and a little bit up the polls. So go ahead and do that. Take your time. We'll wait. Thank you. This is Good Times, Bad Friends. Justin, what do we have today?
Collin, welcome to the chat. It's just
back.
me and you. We're going to have fun. There's nobody to introduce. We had a fun conversation that turned into a prompt that went into 2 different types of AI because, we're kind of lazy and we didn't want to come up with this. 5 minutes later, kapoof, we have something to talk about. Now, we were talking about, and I thought this was a pretty good metaphor to use, is I feel like specifically, and me and you were talking about X a little while back.
Mhm.
Dude, I got on X again for the first time, and it's like I'm sitting at a 7th grade lunch table. It's like somebody will talk about something crazy. Oh, there's an assassination attempt. But this guy right here just dyed his hair. So let's go back and talk about this. So like you talk about the cycle of the internet, and I feel like are there really any crazy stories, or have we just been desensitized to a bunch of crazy things happening? But because the news cycle is so fast, like why do things move in and out? Like you said, like 36 hours later, the president of the United States, there was an assassination attempt, and all of a sudden we're past it. So like, why do we get past like, why does the news cycle work the way it does now? Like, are we in the area or in the era of shorts and TikToks and attention spans? Like what's the cause of that happening? Like, kind of worries me a little bit.
Yeah, I think, and you know, in my intro, I said there are no experts, but I am one, so I will give you the perfect answer
Coming
for this.
from an expert.
I think that okay, tinfoil hat already. We're 4 seconds into this
Mm,
thing. I think people control what the media gets pushed out because
100%.
I think
Look who funds big name media stations, and it's like the same people that have this agenda without a doubt. But anyway, continue.
yes, I do think that's true because we had an assassination attempt on the president again, like the third that we know about.
The third one, dude,
Yeah,
like
third one
within
that we know
6 months
about.
of each other.
At the big the biggest names in the country of politics are at this dinner. There's the video for this shooting comes out that day. So like what makes that different than the other things that come out? There but other things don't last as long. Like remember the Florida incident at the mall in 2024 that had every cop in Florida there and people were like, "Oh, there's aliens. There's all these crazy things." And then it went away the next day. But I've seen the same stupid Travis Kelce Met Gala outfit of him walking up this aisle, and I'm like, what are we focusing on as a country? Our president's getting shot at, whether you like him or not. Political violence is not the answer because Mexico is a clear indication that political violence has bad results. Is that the answer you wanted? I don't really know where I got
Dude, that is the most expert answer I've probably ever heard in my entire life.
got
And I don't
sweaty
think
talking about it.
anybody could articulate that any better than you just did right now. And just as ChatGPT does to you every time, Colin, that was a great answer.
Hey,
Let
thank
me
you.
give you 5 key points to stay in shape this summer. No, I think with this, like what the topic says is like the weekly outrage cycles. It's like, okay, some stories stick, but it's not the stories that truly make a difference. So this term that's been getting thrown around a lot is a suicidal empathy. We are in the freest, most powerful country in the world. Unfortunately, I think the freedom has now been molded into what I call suicidal empathy. So we are maybe way too accepting, or some things happen to certain people and we turn a blind eye, but then, Taylor Swift does something cool and it moves everybody towards a certain direction. I don't necessarily think that's a good thing because I think that is the case study of what stories actually stick, what things actually make it onto certain platforms and get thousands of views and retweets and likes and everything like that. And it's usually some dissension among certain groups of people that, Republicans, Democrats, whatever it may be. People almost get this tribal mentality about things that really don't move the needle for us. So, like, for me, why do we continue? And it probably always goes back to the answer that you gave with all the mainstream media outlets and everything being funded by certain people and certain narratives and messages get pushed. But like, why is it so hard for people to think with their own brain, to use logic? Like, why doesn't anybody have, and this is kind of where I'm leaning to, I'll kind of get you where I'm leaning to, but like, why can't people stand on their own beliefs nowadays with anything that, like, why is it always something that has to outrage someone? And why can't they just try to prove their own point for what they believe nowadays?
Yeah, I think we live in a time where my real thoughts on something have consequences. And if I put that out there, then I'm thought of as different. So now I have to be kind of this herd mentality of how I think instead of how I really feel. So we've lost all individualism and it's turned into like a, I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to get in trouble. Even though I may be saying the right thing,
Mm,
other people may not agree. So now I'm worried about like hurting people's feelings and, oh, what is the word? Like, not trading truth for, I don't know.
like convenience or agreement, or
Yeah,
it's almost
agreement.
it's almost like, yeah, it's almost like a herd mentality that'll take you the wrong way. It's like all those psychological experiments they used to do where they take somebody in a room and people have lab coats on, so you kind of appeal to authority and they tell you to press this button, it's going to shock somebody, and you're like, okay, well, I'm about to inflict harm on someone that I don't want to do. And there's three different levels. You do the first one, it's like, just give them a little bit of shock. The second one shops in where they're like audibly screaming, but they're in a different room, so you can actually see the pain inflicted on someone. And then the third one, they were like, if you hold this long enough, it will kill somebody. But the person in the lab coat is like, do it, do it, do it, hold it longer, do it, do it, do it. And then all of a sudden, just because of that peer pressure, they've now hold that switch down long enough to kill somebody, even though obviously outside of that, you take them out of that environment and they would never hurt anybody. So are we just appealing to what we think is right, or, what the big corporate machine is? Or are we scared to lose our job, or is the economy scaring us, or we can't afford gas or anything? Like, where are we going to where we've lost those individual like where did that go wrong where we started losing those individual beliefs?
I think our country has gone to an evil place, and I don't think it is as blatant as we say. Like, I just, as you were talking, I Googled Fox News, I Googled CNN, and I went to X, and these are the first story that comes across each one. It's crazy. Fox News is talking about a basketball player. It's talking, or a Buccaneers explain how his faith plays large role in life on and off the field. That was the latest thing they posted. We're in the middle of a war. Our president just got almost like shot at, where gas prices are higher than it's ever been. Fox News first story that at this time, Buccaneers explains how his faith plays large role. Love it. Love that story is getting,
Yeah,
but that is definitely leaning to one side of the news network rather
100%.
than, and then CNN's first story is just talking about how Trump is trying to raise all this money for a ballroom on the side of the White House. We're in a war. Our president just got shot at. There's a hantavirus on a cruise ship that can't dock because people are getting very
Dude,
sick. And we're
that
talking about
sucks.
a ballroom. We're talking about people's faith on the biggest news outlets in the world. X right now, the first trending thing, it says, gamble with your friends, 3 days on a gambling trip. And that's the number one in today's news. It could be because of my algorithm, but I
It
think
could be because I look at it a little bit more often than.
I just think it's crazy that what we choose to be news and what we don't choose to be news. We have politicians who are making millions off insider trading, not reported. But I'm so glad that this ballroom is really causing people such a fuss.
Well, and two, I don't know. It's like things are created to create division instead of, hey, let's see what the president, I don't care what side you're on. And in all reality, something, the kind of bigger thing I was trying to lead you to is I think a lot of people don't have anything to look to but other people in positions of power. So they look at politicians as their religion. They look at that person as a person in a religious stance for them. And that's something that they can get behind and believe in even if they don't have anything bigger than themselves to be able to believe in. So I think people take those stories and they automatically pick sides because that's their religion, that's their love, that's the thing that revolves around them, that's their higher power. That's something that unfortunately they're being tricked into believing. And so therefore that's kind of what they follow religiously. And so like all those things are picked to create division. Like, why can't we look at certain decisions being made? We are in a war. We are doing certain things. Like, why do we have to turn our mindset into something that creates division instead of, hey, let's put pressure on Trump to make the American people to put them in the best position that they can possibly put us in. If he makes a wrong decision, why can't both sides call him out? When he makes a right decision, why can't more importantly both sides give him credit where credit's due? Like we take something, especially like look at the president. He's the leader of the free world. He's the leader of the most powerful country in the world right now. And one side or the other, and if it was somebody on the other side, we would do the exact same thing. We automatically, like, we don't look at the things that we might be doing right in a time of war. Like you said, we automatically look to, well, he's worried about the wrong thing. Oh, he's building a ballroom. Oh, he's not doing this the right way. Oh, but he's doing this. Like, why can't we just continue to find common ground instead of finding things that can just instantaneously separate us, you know?
Yeah, and I don't wanna spend too much time on Trump, but he doesn't take a paycheck. Like, he's doing this not for free because he's making all this money on, like, speaking deals, whatever, but he doesn't take a paycheck from the taxpayers, which is crazy, and people are just, like, not talking about that. Oh, it's all the bad things he does, or I think we're seeing it in real time right now with RFK, and I think he's been trying to do nothing but good, but people have this negative mindset of he's anti-vaccine, so nothing he ever do will be good. Or Elon Musk, because he's so rich and so has so much going on. He's like, well, he's a fascist because insert the blank. He has all these
Yeah.
workers, whatever.
Even though he's created tens of thousands of jobs and generating billions of dollars for the marketplace, just because he supports a certain person or leans a certain way or has maybe said one thing, which he was on the completely other side. He was on the complete other side at one point, by the way, also. So it's like we don't see the thousand positive things that are happening, but it's like the one negative thing that goes against the narrative that's cool today, the thing that sets in today, he's automatically an evil person.
Yeah,
Like that's crazy to me.
it's wild. It honestly is so crazy. And going back to the herd mentality, like if you are on the opposite side of things, you can't post, which we're in a posting culture. We'll get into this episode. You can't post in support of someone else. So like if Elon does something good, a whole party has to post negatively about it to offset it. So
Exactly.
nothing nothing
Dude,
says I'm
he could
thriving like posting
yes.
a crisis in good lighting. As long as you
Yeah.
have the good lighting and the good pick me culture because you can blow up to get paid for something you don't even believe in. It's just so frustrating.
Well, you could pick any person in the world, any person of social significance or prominence. They could find the cure for cancer and they'd be like, oh, but the other day he drove a gas powered car and he's also killing pigeons. So it's like, okay, if we are living in this place that gives us the freedom to be able to battle these ideas, let's not always use it to find something negative. Let's find areas where we disagree, but more importantly, in the freest country in the world, that's the most powerful. We are socially in control, physically, all this kind of stuff. Let's find common ground so that we can all agree on something. So we like you said, we can kind of transition to what we're going to talk about into this viral behavior, this collective weirdness, whatever you want to call it. When somebody gets on their soapbox or somebody gets brainwashed into this thing, or brain rot culture and all this kind of stuff, which we're talking about, or how you can say two consecutive numbers together, specifically 6 and 7, that has meant nothing for the past thousands of years, and now yes, kids uncontrollably have to do something to it. So like, I feel like people don't want meeting, they just want something to cling on to. We go back to the herd mentality. We go back to how easily people are swayed towards a certain narrative because they get on just CNN or Fox News or just Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anything like that. Like, why sometimes do people just join trends that they don't even understand?
Dude, and
Like,
you're so
they'll
right.
just follow. Like, it's wild
Do
to
you remember
dude, some
Tebowing
people
and
didn't.
planking?
Yes.
He's just
Like,
laying
people
across
didn't even
stuff?
know. Yes. Like it served no purpose to the world. The craziest thing to me is you do a little bit of research about that 6-7 thing, about the guy that sings that song, and it is like legitimate, like super demonic stuff.
I
Or
didn't even
it's
know it
like
was a song.
people don't know the meaning, or there's certain words that people say that they don't even know the meaning of, but they saw it on TikTok, so they're going to say it. Like, why just blindly follow? Like, it's old adage of like, you go back to those progressive commercials or our parents or anything like that, the boomers, and they're like, well, if Collin jumped off a bridge, would you? And I'm like, well, it kind of stands the test of time because, well, I saw it on TikTok. Okay, so that means that you just have to do it uncontrollably in public and make yourself look like an idiot?
Yeah, and I think back to, like, our high school of, like, the planking challenges and the mannequin challenges and when people were Tebowing, but people got upset that people were Tebowing because he was a Christian.
True.
And so he was, anti-LGBT, like all of like the Christian values. If you were Tebowing and caught Tebowing, just literally on a knee in the praying posture, but not really because you were like copying Tim Tebow, you were automatically signaling that you were on this side versus this side, which had nothing to do
Exactly.
with it.
And it's like every action that you have or anything you say has to signal to a certain side. Can't be in the middle. It can't be logical. It can't be neutral. It can't be lukewarm or anything like that. Like you have to pick a side with every single word and phrase that you use. So it's like, with that being said, not only do they pick a side, but why in the world do we promote people that just suddenly become experts overnight? Like people walk in with a lab coat and you just like, you don't ask for credentials. You're like, that dude's got to be a doctor. And it turns out it's like, no, he just bought that at Goodwill because, weird Met Gala things are becoming a thing. So everybody's got to dress as weird as possible in today's world. Like, why do people just get to think, and I think I know where you're going to go with this, but like you can get on the internet, make an account. That's all you have to do. Those are the only credentials you need is a username and a password that you may not forget. And if you do, you can just recover it. But anyway, like why have we created just so many people that think they can just instantly be experts on something that they have no idea about overnight?
Yeah, I don't think that this helps our case, but anybody with a camera and a microphone,
It's okay. I kind
podcast
of put my
equipment
foot in
is
it, but
too cheap.
just podcast.
Podcast
Yeah.
equipment has become too cheap. And people have seen what we've done, but they've seen the great things that Good Times, Bad Friends has brought this world, this country, and this neighborhood, probably in reverse order. But I think people want to, and I think we did in high school too. We would like film everything, trying to get that one
Everything.
click. And then nowadays, the hot button issues will get clicks. And that's why
100%.
CNN and Fox News, the stories are usually pretty good, but the headlines usually are just clickbaity. And
Yes.
so when you try to talk about things based on headlines, you think of yourself as an expert. And then once you start talking about them, you're like, I actually don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to present it to all these people to hopefully they click it and reshare it. And I've seen some people actually talk about something they don't believe in because they know it'll blow up and it'll be really negative.
Exactly.
And that's where you can't trust everything you see on the internet. I was
Now,
going to
I
say
think
kids, but kids don't listen to this.
when you add in the variable of time, though, I think that's the separator because as we talk, you get to know eventually we're going to show something that we're full of crap
Hmm.
or that we're full of things that we truly believe in that we just want to have conversations about or the people that we have on and all of our guests and stuff like that. So I kind of joked about that, put my foot in my mouth, but I think that we've stood the test of time because we've gotten on here and actually started a podcast. Like we know what it means to start a podcast.
Episode
But
66,
we don't exactly. So we have done it well, we've done about
probably
80 episodes. But
75.
anyway, kind of, yeah, yeah, well, we don't live over this. But we've got to the point to where, okay, we're not just going to talk about things to talk about things. Like we are taking kind of the funny angles and sort of the trending topics and stuff like that. But we're going to give our opinions on it. We're not going to say something to get clicks from more people because that is some of the stuff that we talk about. We want to get eyeballs on the podcast. We want to get ears listening to us and stuff like that. But at the same time, that's not going to happen if you're not talking about something that A, you don't believe in and you can't have a legitimate opinion on. So like, we're not coming on here talking about, hey, this is really how you make an mRNA vaccine and stuff like that. Like, this is how you have to put molecules in. Like, that'd be really, really stupid. We're going to get on here and we're going to give takes from people that are in a profession where we do have to think on our feet. We are pretty good about doing that. We have certain knowledge about things. We are in certain social circles, but most importantly, like we've had things that have impacted us in a certain way to where we're going to have a fixed opinion on things. Like we come from the lens of faith. We come from the lens of, we've always had a really close friend group. So we've had some honest conversations. Like we don't have to come in here. Like we have prompts and everything, but we can be led by real conversations. So I think people are going to naturally weed themselves out. So unfortunately, you're in this 6-second soundbite society. But after a while, I think people run out of that. They can only scroll so much before they're like, okay, I want to listen to someone talk. I want to listen to someone have a real conversation because all I've seen are AI videos of different stories and I'm hearing songs by AI. Like everything's being replaced by kind of a virtual reality. And that's something me and Alex were talking about last week in the episode that just dropped right now. But like I think it gets to a certain point, you get so far away from what we're just trained to do that eventually you want to get back to it. So we were talking about how the Pokemon cards came back into play. Like all the stuff that came from the time where we grew up, where there weren't a lot of phones, there weren't a lot of ways to just put a camera in front of you and be able to talk. You had to have face to face conversation. I think people are coming back to that. And I think the trends that are starting to win now are the podcasts where people are sitting down for multiple hours and talking to each other and having real conversations. So like you can try to be an expert on something, but at the end of the day, the only thing that's going to win is being real. So if you're not going to be yourself, that's the only thing you need to be an expert in is be an expert on what you know, how you feel, and what you believe, and then have a conversation about it.
Yeah, I think that's why every podcast we've had, with guests included, ourselves included, have come down to three things: faith, sports, and leadership, I think are like the main things. And it's because we are very active in our faith, I believe. We are in sports every single day. And we aren't just like, I know that you know some, and I know some coaches that go to school, do their job, clock out as soon as they can. And
100%.
we aren't that. I think we do a good job of setting culture. Like we think about these athletes way more than the time we're at school. And I think
No doubt.
because we want to see them grow as young adults on both sides of the gender spectrum, with me working in girls and you working in guys, we're trying to invest in these kids and we want to be more than just like your put ball over net, put ball in end zone kind of
Exactly.
mindset, but we want to grow them as humans. That's why we talk about, like me and you talk about, like books we're reading to help start that, just because we want to be leaders and not just, podcasting, which we are number one on the charts in my
Ooh,
brain, but we're also trying to like be leaders in that. So you had an interesting point of people want back long form conversations. They want that again. They're craving human like interaction. But I do think we live in a time where people don't know how to do that. So they do get
yeah.
depression, they do get sad, they do get by themselves. So how can somebody that is non-confrontational, doesn't want to make friends, is fear of rejection, how does this person like put themselves out there? People aren't, I don't think people really are going to bars anymore. And if they are,
Yeah.
I think like I think they said the drinking like percentage of teenagers that are drinking now has gone way down.
Yeah. Which is good.
I think weed is probably the reason for that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that they're doing less things that prompt social cueing, so they're not able to
Yes.
have these conversations, so that when they become an adult and out of that, so they've lost those skills unless they do leadership things like play sports or get in campus organizations and stuff like that.
I would say the first thing you can do is get involved. And I think the second thing too is like if you're past this point, I have something that maybe I can help you out with. But like the thing I always go back to and like the thing I cherish the most is like the friendship circle that we have from high school. I do see a growing number of kids and kind of worries me a little bit too. Like they are so ready to get out of high school. And there were moments my senior year where I was ready to be done and I want to get out of high school, but like for what? To get out, to go be more on, more alone, more by yourself, move to a new city, get a new job, meet new people, have a new boss, and all stuff like that. Like you're always chasing new, and so therefore you're having to be a little bit more reserved. And then about the time you get to know someone, you get a promotion, you move cities, you get a significant other, you start dating someone, you try to get married. So like really you're getting to know one person very intimately. And then you're stuck and you're like, okay, I want this social circle. I want this network. I see all these people that I feel like I'm connected to, but they're on my phone screen. So like, what do I go to now? I can't go out to the bar, like you said. I can't go to these social functions. So I would say, like, wherever you are, don't be afraid to turn around and reach out to maybe someone that had an impact on you in your life in high school. Try to build those relationships right there because you spent a lot of, surely there's someone that you spent 4+ years about if you went to the same thing. I know there's a lot of kids that move around and stuff, but if you spent 4 years with someone, surely you could have another conversation, spark up a conversation, get a little get together going, have a reunion, something like that. Be able to spark relationships that make you a little bit more comfortable. I don't
Mhm.
necessarily think that you should go out like that. That was what I was so worried about. And I think one of the bigger reasons now that I kind of reflect back on it that I wanted to play football in college is because I was scared to just walk in my exercise science class and just try to make friends with somebody random in there. Now, I did have a group of friends from high school that like nobody was ever going to get to that level. So I was like, I mean, even if I do meet someone, like it's just not going to be the same as Collin, Dalton, all them. But I think that wherever you start, you need to start with someone that you grew up with. You need to start with someone that you had a relationship with when you were a little bit younger, a little bit more vulnerable. You spent a lot of time together. You went to English. You joked up at the lunch table or anything like that. I think people just need to rekindle relationships with people that they're comfortable with and don't try to force new relationships with someone that they don't know and they're just trying to speed things up. Because when you try to speed things up, you're not going to find someone that genuinely looks out for your best interest. You're going to find someone that you have a little bit of a connection with. And you're going to be an acquaintance at best and then that's as far as it's going to go. And then that one thing falls through, and then now you're in this like just spiraling circle of, well, I'm never going to find anybody. I'm never going to have any friends. I'm never going to make connections. And I think from there, people just shut themselves off. And it's so easy to do that because you can go home and you can hide on 15 different screens and you can go from video games to social media apps and everything like that. And instead of sharing that with your friends and rekindling those friendships, kind of like we do, gaming it up all the time, my boys staying up late, you go from that to just being more secluded, even though you feel like you're connected, but you're not.
Yeah, I think people are scared to put themselves out there. And so have you heard of like this is so stupid that I know what this is. Have you heard of like a soft launch or the soft launch culture?
No, somebody mentioned that, but I don't know what that means.
It's
I don't
like,
know.
and I'm gonna sound like an old when I like it's kind of like when these two people start dating, but like they don't want to put it out there, so they soft launch it. They do like little things on social media to kind of make it look
Like little
just
stories and
but
yeah, like just enough.
sounds cute, right? But it's not. It's to see if they
So
have
we
public
used to yeah,
like
so
if
so
people
we
agree with it.
used to say, like, remember when you were, like, talking to somebody,
Yes.
and then you kind of okay, so that's kinda what it is or whatever, you give, like, so are you trying to, like, figure out who they are, or you're just trying to, like, slowly ease people into what you're doing?
Correct. I think it's the second. I think it has nothing to do with the person you're with. I think it's trying to see
Gotcha.
public interest to see if people support you in this because everything comes down to likes and how other people feel about you. And if you're living
That's
for how other
wild.
people feel about you, which I'm guilty of, I care way too much about what people think of me, and it's something I struggle with. And oh my god, I'm soft launching that to my therapist if he's listening. Okay, but like the soft launch culture is because like people are scared to take risks. They're like, okay, I got to ease people into this to see if it's a good thing or not. And if it fails, well, I didn't really
Mm.
commit to it. It's just
Dude, that is such a toxic thing that I see nowadays, like, kids almost set themselves up to fail, that way when they do, they're like, "Well, I knew I was gonna do it anyway," or anything like, "Oh, I knew I wasn't gonna get that job anyway,"
that
or, "I
makes
knew
me
I wasn't gonna make
so
that play anyway,"
mad.
like, I can't believe that you can't just put yourself out there, try as hard as you possibly can, and you don't lose. Like, in this old coach adage, "You don't lose, you learn." So, if you're not able like, life is going to be difficult. A life worth having is going to be difficult at some point. You get to choose when you prepare yourself to be able to handle those situations right there. Like life is just an endless pursuit of checkpoints. So once you hit one, you can celebrate for a second. There's no finish line. There's no champagne. There's no giant ring that you get or pat on the back or anything like that. Like I put my kids to bed and it's just like, okay, what's next? I get on the podcast. It's like I didn't walk into a room and McKenna's waiting on confetti. Like good job. Like, you're a freaking stud, dude. Like, you put the kids down for bed and kept them alive. No, it's like, it's an endless pursuit of having fun during the process, but an endless pursuit of the next checkpoint. What's next? How do I make the world and myself around me better? So, like, I think people get caught up in that, like the soft launch, so they always have something to fall back on, and they're always waiting for this like grand good job. Like I think everybody needs way too much validation today on every little thing that we do, and if we were waiting on that, then we would have quit on this podcast a long time ago. Like Rogan didn't
Mm,
start that way. Like nobody, girl, come on now.
come on,
So
preach.
everybody had to start at a certain point, and then at a certain point when you want to take the next step, well like nothing's free. You can't just create that, you can't just get that, you're not going to be rewarded that. Like very little people wake up and they're just rewarded things every single day. So you need to choose like what you want, and then when your dreams and your work ethic start to not match up or one gets higher than the other, that's where you have to do a little bit of a self-evaluation to make sure, am I making the right steps to be able for that to happen.
Yeah, and I truly think that I heard a preacher say once that there's like 3 stages of life, and this is true for everybody. You're either in the fire, you're coming out of the fire, or you're about to
Mm.
go into the fire. So, like,
Oof.
when things are really good, you just hold on. But when things seem at its lowest and things start like the relief is coming. And these are not things that social media can give you or like I think if you have a good circle, like you talked about, of people who are not just affirming you and just like letting you make bad choices,
Exactly.
but you can
They can
have
have
people
real
be like,
conversations with you.
"Hey, dude, what you're doing is not good, and you can be mad
Yes.
at me, but if we're this close to have this conversation, then I know you're not mad at me. You could be upset for a little bit, and then we'll get through it." I've had many conversations with like our friend group and like their families of like, "Hey, this was not good," and it's hard and it's uncomfortable, and most good things in life are. And I think social media kind of tricks people into like believing visibility equals identity. So I think
Mm.
if you
Say that again. Say that
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Come on
Hey,
now.
chat, are you listening? Social media tricks us people into believing visibility equals identity. And what that means is I'm going to make it look online like I have the best significant other. I have the best job. I am going to Turks and Caicos all the time. I am golfing every weekend and life is good. And this is my identity because people know this about me. But when I go meet that person in person or real life, I don't get that vibe from them. I get this person who is kind of like reserved and sheltered, but they're really good at posting online. We were really good at podcasting when we started because we had ChatGPT to make prompts. But now we have an outline, and I think I look more at our cameras than over there because we can have a
Same,
conversation where we're not
same.
trying to like perform or do anything crazy anymore. We just want to have real conversations with our friends and have a hangout time. And if people choose to listen, they do. I had to get over the hurdle of like, I want to at least have these goals of these people listening. I just want to hang out with my friends and have cool talks and meet a lot of cool people. Like
Dude,
we've
no
met
doubt.
authors and pastors and friggin' Nevin Shapiro and all sorts of crazy people just because we took
Dude,
a risk and probably
no doubt.
didn't fail, but probably didn't hit it big. And that's okay.
Well, and we were getting eyes, but we were doing it the way that we wanted to do it. We weren't doing it in a fake way. We weren't getting Jackson Shipley on just to tell football stories. As much as I would love to sit Jackson Shipley down and talk for 45 hours about the University of Texas, like there's other things that we need to do. And then come to find out, the most important thing that he talked about, the most important thing that he continues to preach is his faith. And so it's like we find these lanes because it's the lanes that guide our life. So if
Mhm.
those are the conversations you're having, you're going to fly 100 miles down that road and it doesn't matter who's with you, you're having fun. Like you're in control of that radio. You don't worry about what's outside of your windows. You're not looking in the rearview mirror. Like you're focused on the lane that you're dominating in the stuff that you're good at. So I think that that's what we've had a good run doing is we've had a good run doing it our way. So like you look at some of those other points that we were talking about earlier and like the soft, hey, I learned something. Soft launch. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, you're
That's
welcome.
I'm probably never going to use that again, but I'm sure I can like drop that because there are certain words like I use them to the kids I have in my little homeroom class, and they're like, "Coach, what are you doing?" I'm like, "See, it's super annoying. Like Riz is not a cool word. Stop saying it." So I'll say it completely out of context. I'm like, "Dude, I was playing baseball the other day, and I hit the furthest Riz I've ever hit in my entire." Like I'll say it completely wrong or whatever, and they say like no cap, and I'm like, "Actually, you can't wear hats in school anyway, so that's not a big deal, guys." So anyway, with kind of where people live in that culture. They want eyeballs. They're not necessarily sure why they get that attention, but they don't have anything to provide once they get that attention. Like, what do you think about kind of those four different points that we are talking about? So you have like the fake productivity routine. Now, Ben is not fake at all. He hates my ice bath. It's just something I have to do. It's a really stupid decision that's turned into a life hack. You think about people that are just living that aesthetic lifestyle. They post about how great their life is, but they're $500,000 in debt and their life's falling apart. Now, we fell in that trap. I'll be completely transparent with you. When we had Graham, he was kind of turned into a little bit of a turd, and McKenna was looking at like age peers with kind of like age kids or whatever. And they were only and just like we do, like I post and probably within the hour of I'll just say this right now. Go on my Instagram, look at every picture, everything I've ever posted. The post with Graham that I just put on my story the other day where he's freaking cranking the ball. Guess what? 5 minutes before that, he was screaming, throwing his bat all over the place. And
Right.
I'm like, dude, stop. So it's like people only post the highlights. Like nobody's going to get on Instagram and be like, I'm going to post my kid who's struggling with potty training, and I can't wait to show the world that he's screaming at me and throwing crap at me, and I got to whoop his butt. And so, like, what do you think about people that are just living those aesthetic lifestyles, the influencer overconfidence, the dopamine addictions? Like, are people just trying to get those hits? And we're always coming back to the same kind of moral, philosophical question or whatever. But like, what do you like? Where's your fix on that same question that you were kind of asking me about people that are just kind of living these surface level lives?
I think we are, and this sounds Rogan y, but it's not. I think we're very tribal. I think both sides are wrong. And I am part of both sides, so I'm wrong. But I think the parent posting about their kid potty training, just don't. Who cares? Who cares? But the people
Preach.
in the comment section who does not know this person, who probably also went through potty training a child, one side is like, bad parent, you don't know what to do. You're letting your children do XYZ. And the same comment section is, look at them being brave, trying to ask for help. Like, just stop. Like, why are you watching a potty training video about a kid? Like, why are you posting? I think most of the time people are reacting, and hear me out, like over what their emotions tell them without taking a step back and understanding this is a real
100%.
world scenario. Like, I think people, whether it be like relationships, parenting, sports, culture, politics, whatever, like they're identity signaling, and people aren't just discussing ideas, they're defending their tribe. And this is just, I think that is in like our DNA and our genes of like back in the day of my tribe lives here, and anybody that comes to my
Yes,
tribe is a
enemy,
perceived
enemy
threat.
automatically.
They are a threat.
Exactly,
I think
exactly.
that, and for stuff you asked about being experts. Oh gosh, I'm ranting. You asked about being experts earlier. I am not a political expert. I don't know anything about politics, but there's
But
something in my brain about something someone could say, and I'll be like, oh, I need to defend my cause. I don't have a cause, but I feel like I have to defend my tribe, whatever my tribe is that day, which is another problem. People flip flop. Huh, cool, trendy word. And they don't stick to their beliefs. So one day I'm defending this, the next day I'm defending this, and now hold no credibility, but I'm still posting online like I do. Stop doing that. Okay.
were you talking to you or who were you just talking to right there?
I don't know. I blacked out. What happened?
Who were you just wanna well, no, like I think, like you said, people seek the attention. They know what's popular. They know what their favorite influencer does. So, they got 25,000 views because all they do are do reaction videos. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to react twice as much because then that means that I'm going to get 50,000 followers. So has just reacting to things, like you said, with no thought, with no logic, with nothing to back it up, has just raw reaction to things become more important than actual understanding and debate and finding common ground?
Dude,
Talk to me.
a billion percent yes. I think the internet has created a culture. Oh, I'm fired up, dude. I'm sweating. I'm hot. The shirt is almost white and see through. I think the internet has created a culture about being first matters more than being right. So,
Yeah,
speed, all
dude.
of those things. Like, I'm speaking with confidence. I'm speaking with emotion. I'm the first one to say it. The social reward system honors those things because of how I feel emotionally rather than being right. It doesn't matter. I don't need more
Yes.
contacts. It just has to go viral. And it's insane that everyone should be mad, and they are, because I can speak with the right words and the right tone the fastest. So people have to jump on board or they're a bigot.
Or you don't have to speak with the right tone. You don't have to use the right words. You could be completely wrong, but I'm emotional and you have to accept it. That is the most frustrating thing that I've seen. The biggest shift in today's society is like, no, no, no. You can't say right is right and wrong is wrong. You can't call it, especially when wrong is wrong, but I'm emotional. You have to let me be in my emotions. You have to let me say what I need to say. You have to let me feel how I need to feel. No, no, no. Once it starts affecting the environment around you, especially in a negative way, I need to make sure that I get a reset on that. I need to make sure that I can call you out and hold your feet to the fire and understand that no, no, no. Just because you're angry doesn't negate the fact that objectively that is wrong and wrong is wrong. And I'm going to call out when wrong is wrong, even though you feel like it is your cause, even though you feel like it's your tribe, even though it feels like something you've been fighting for thousands of years. No, no, no. It's still wrong. I hate to tell you that, and I know it hurts your feelings more than anything in the world, because trust me, I've had so many situations, like you get into the coaching profession and you realize real quick, there's some really good freaking coaches out there. And you realize also very, very quickly when you say something really stupid and you get a look from one of those really, really good coaches that they are letting you know that you have no idea what you're talking about. So to me, I think people are out there like there's not newscasters anymore. There's just emergency broadcasters. There's people that come on and they can't tell the difference between Travis Kelsey's outfit at the Met Gala. Here we go. We're tying everything back together, and an assassination attempt on the president of the United States, or like a kid getting kidnapped and murdered by this guy who's a FedEx driver or anything like that. Like, we're starting to blend those things together. And I think that's where it gets dangerous, because those things are not even close to being on the same moral scale as Travis Kelsey's outfits at the freaking Met Gala, where it's like tax the rich, but they're paying $500,000 for a table to eat. And it's like, okay, like we have way bigger problems there. So like when you start conflating those two things together, that's when you have real problems. Like, we are in a real war right now that is affecting the average American. And the
Yeah.
decisions are being made by someone that doesn't have to necessarily worry what the gas prices are. They don't necessarily have to worry what the price of eggs are. So if they drive them up for 3 or 4 weeks just to fill their pockets or get them reelected or make sure that their constituents or the big pharma people that are paying them, that they stay happy, that's the only thing that matters right now. So I think for us, like, the worst thing we've done is we've turned on each other, when in all reality, like, that's exactly what the people that are making all these stupid decisions that affect us want, is they want me and you to turn on each other, when in all reality, me and you should be finding common ground over wow, we're living this life to where we're actually the ones in control, and we need to realize what that control is and not fight over every little stupid thing that happens. Hey, I'm ranting too. I can rant too.
Dude,
You know what I'm saying? We can go back and forth.
listen, you ready for this? You ready for
I'm
this?
so ready. Always. Come on now.
If you're the smartest person in every room that you go into, start going to new rooms. You have to be able to
Ooh,
open your horizons. You have to be able to listen.
100%.
That's not even from chat. That was that was from the don't well, not my
Well,
dome. I
hey,
probably heard it somewhere else.
and we real quick, we were on a roll there for a while where we wanted to get people on that actually disagreed with us. Like I
Yeah.
was messaging people that were like basically these democratic social justice warriors or anything like that. Like I wanted to get them on the podcast because I think that's where you truly find the common ground. You realize that we're not necessarily enemies. We just see these things and like I don't know, man. Like we found such a good church, and when you truly start to dive into your faith, and you know that like this is just a broken, sinful world, so it doesn't matter. Like that politician you look up to, he's a broken, sinful man or woman, just like you and I are. So it's like at the end of the day, why are we fighting over something that we're on the same level as? And we're not here for that right there. We're not here at the end of the day to talk about what kind of social issues are going to push us forward or what political candidate is the best or anything like that, or who's really going to help out for the price of eggs. Like we're here because we are made in the image of God and it is person to person. And it's not person in political party A or B or who you like pancakes and I like waffles will say crepes or I'm going to break your arm or anything like that. Like that has nothing to do in the grand scheme of things of why we're here. But we've made it the only cause of us being here right now is that divisiveness.
Yeah, and I think you asked earlier, or maybe you were alluding to it, of do people like secretly enjoy the outrage? And I don't know if that's true. I think people enjoy belonging more than the outrage itself. Like outrage gives people a community to echo chamber with, a moral superiority, if you will, about a
Yes.
certain cause. And people like the community and the belongingness as gosh, talking about when we started people want that inclusiveness. People want to be able to talk to each other. And if they don't have someone, but they can go find these online groups that are probably bots, they can
Yeah.
just have an echo
Dude.
chamber and feel like they're like, we're on this side and everything else is wrong. But your neighbor in the opposite view is having those same conversations. So when you get to talk to the other side, it's just like, I know these things. I know these things. I'm not going to budge, but I'm going to talk loudly online about it.
Well, it's like so we said it earlier, it's like this collective weirdness. So people that have no idea, like people that don't know each other, me and you, we're friends. We have an extensive background. We've gotten to know each other. We are lifelong friends. So we can kind of make those connections and have those conversations and like it doesn't feel weird. We're not just going along for the ride just because somebody said something. Not only are you trapped in this echo chamber, you're trapped in this echo chamber with bots from people from other countries that are just trying to just peel into this narrative. And then two, like you don't even know these people. Yes,
Right.
you share one crazy outlandish opinion with them, and then you think you're like best friends. So you become like this weird, like viral warrior. Like you get into this viral behavior and this collective weirdness. So for me, I think people just go I guess the best example I can use is like, if you ever walked up and like this does kind of piss me off sometimes, like you walk up to your friends and they're telling a joke and you're like, "Hey, what is it?" And they won't tell you and you're like, "Dude, don't leave me out of this joke." Like, please and then it starts to become a joke that you don't know what the joke was. And so like I think a lot of people are just they're so scared to have that left out of the joke moment so they just dive in constantly to every single place that they possibly can on the internet to try to be a part of something. And then when they find it, they just dig their heels in and they never leave because now they don't have to be in a new weird situation with new weird people, even though they have no idea who those people are in the first place that they're trapped with.
It's almost like mini cults.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. Like we talked, oh gosh, it was on one of the earlier podcast episodes, like the fishing community, like certain communities you hear it
Yeah.
and you're like, that's a cult. Like that's a
Hmm.
community, and it's definitely a cult or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But people
Pineapples.
do, and they get so dug in those communities, like they get in a Facebook group and it's like those hunting Facebook groups, those people are never leaving that.
Crazy.
Like it's a blood in, blood out. Like the first question they ask you is, are you willing to swap blood with someone? Then you can't come in this Facebook group. And you're like, oh my God, I just
God.
want to see where the best dove hunt is in the South Texas right now. So
I can dude,
it's
can we
crazy,
pause?
man.
Can we pause?
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot
Talk
wait
to
for
me.
dove hunting. I cannot
Dude,
wait to go dove hunting.
every hunting season that comes around, I know we talked about this too. We got to defend it. Freaking suck at PETA. But like every hunting season that comes around, And then, like, we have Cade on and all those kind of guys that, like, actually do it as a profession. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, how cool would that be? All you do is just go hunting all day, every day.
right.
Like, that is I wouldn't fully give it away if I hit the mega millions and it's like $1.2 billion. There would be signs, my dude. Like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
podcast
yeah.
equipment, we'd be in person. We
Mhm.
would never have to worry about this whole freaking stupid
You
virtual
remember
thing or
Andy
anything like that.
Hernandez, his studio?
Yeah, dude, we'd have the setup like that. We'd have Nevin Shapiro, like the guys like that on all the time.
Yeah, the
Like we'd have big
professor,
time
something
guests.
crazy.
We'd have the professor on, like big time and one basketball guys and everything. But there would be some certain signs for sure. But I think, I don't know, people get in this tune of like we're all moving in the same direction, but blindly, if that makes sense.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this.
Talk to
Is
me.
the internet rewarding confidence over truth in your eyes?
I think it's just rewarding activity. So you look at the algorithm, you look at people that just like what was the one like and we can be transparent about this, but like, what was the one thing or like the one reason why we wanted to start recording a little bit more often so we could post more, so we could be more visible? So like the algorithm would pick up on us
Mhm.
posting more on social media. Therefore, it would like reward us a little bit more. It's just, and it doesn't necessarily, and like for me, same thing. Like I wanted to record more. I wanted to do more podcasts. Like we have things to offer because we're doing it the way that we want to do it and we're doing it the way that we're going to enjoy it. But there are people out there that literally just post and they do it so much that at the end of the day, they're just rewarded for their consistency, not necessarily their substance. So like the breadth is covered. Like they have the surface area covered. They posted 100,000 times over every single thing that they could possibly do. Get ready with me. Look at my outfit. Look at how I spray tan my hair. Like I'm doing the stupidest stuff. Like, look how I make this, like, what are the ASMR where they're just making weird, like you hear nothing but sound. Like, let me make some cupcakes. But like they get rewarded for that because and there's no substance or any kind of logic to it or anything, but they are rewarded just simply for consistency and not necessarily doing something of value.
No, I agree. I think what you said is important. I think confident or like consistency or confidence, let's say confidence.
Oh yeah,
Confidence often feels like credibility. If I'm going to do
100%.
something, I'm going to post a billion times, I'm going to do all of this. Now I'm credible because I got all these likes. No, you just know how the algorithm works. I wish I knew how the algorithm works and I
Yeah,
would have a bigger podcast room right
we
now.
would have a big, we'd have cooler mics and stuff like that.
But I think most people, and I think we do a good job of this, most people don't have time to like deeply research what they're talking about. So when they post for speed or use shortcuts, like to get followers, confidence, or like their face in front of people, they determine and deem themselves as believable, even though it's very shallow, if that makes sense.
So it's like when people tell stories and they lie about stuff and you do it so much that you start to believe the lie. So it's like people are posting about these things and they're like, oh, I can do so many different things and I've got 100,000 followers. Once again, I don't think that necessarily makes you an expert. Like, what are you offering? What are you really talking about? You're just getting ready every single day. You're putting clothes on that people can't afford. Like, you're making people almost covet what you have. Like, you're creating almost a little bit of like negativity through your reverse psychology because you're doing all these things and I'm sponsored by these brands and I get to put these cool things on every single day. So people are watching you
Mm.
almost to be jealous of what you're doing every single day and not necessarily to be made better by the content that you're posting. So now this kind of leads into kind of a question just popped in my head. Do you think like we had been on, like we have all these guys that are like self-help, a little bit more motivating, like the coaches and everything. Like I think coaches are making a resurgence right now in every single area that you could think of. Life coaches, coaches like we are, fitness coaches, all these different kind of realms are benefiting from people that are helping other people. Once again, I think everything comes back full circle. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think God's got his hand in everything. But do you think people are now looking for people that are actually giving content that's going to help me instead of make me just think like, man, I wish I had those headphones. I wish I had that Xbox that Colin's playing. I wish I had all those apps and all those clothes and everything. Do you think people are kind of making that resurgence as well? Do you think that's why that's kind of been the big push in like most of the trends that are going on right now?
Oh, I think that's a good question. I want to get your take on it. I think from a numbers standpoint, no. I think from the people that
Yeah,
want to better themselves, those people are skyrocketing right now. Because
100%.
I think if you look at kind of what you were talking about earlier is or on you and Alex's podcast, like the Kai and I Show Speed is just a bunch of nothing. People
Nothing.
sleeping, people
Like
doing nothing,
they're just videotaping themselves all day long
but
and
people
people are
are
watching it.
watching it. Yes, people are
Hundreds of
watching it.
thousands of people. Yeah.
And I think people are just like, who did this? Somebody did it. Where they're like, and maybe a meme of them watching this streamer and they're like, "Ooh, let me chat to him because he knows who I am." And that they think they have a relationship with somebody that they've
Dude,
never met, but they feel
yeah.
like I'm a moderator in their Discord or whatever. So like
Yeah.
I'm important. But I think, like you said, the people who are trying to help others and people trying to put out good information, the people who are seeking those things have never had an avenue to grow as a person more than they are now. And I think those people are going to rise to the top, that whenever all of these people are going to get older, and whether it's the content creators or the people watching, when that age hits where like I can't do this anymore, their identity has to come from somewhere else. And if your identity
Mhm.
has been in a computer screen, that's tough.
Exactly.
That's
Something
tough.
that changes, something that disappears, something that somebody else is always going to do. If that's your identity, it's going to change. If your identity is in this world, it's broken, it's fleeting, someone's going to swipe away, someone's going to not care at some point because they can only watch you for so long. Because at the end of the day, like I used to watch these streamer guys all the time. I follow these certain number of people, but you get to a certain point where you go through all their posts, you look at everything they post, they either start to get to where they're posting the same thing over and over and over. They just kind of regurgitate it a different way, or they go so many different directions that you're like, okay, there's really no substance here. I'm watching this just to kill time. I'm watching this just to brain rot, or I'm watching this just to kill time. And in all reality, they're not making me better. So like you said, I think that's why there's this resurgence of like the self-help era, because I think people are like, okay, if I'm going to watch you for hours and hours and hours, biologically, I'm wired that like something needs to happen from here. Like I just feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Like there needs to be a symbiotic relationship and stuff. Like there needs to be that face to face human element of it to where I'm making you better and you're making me better through so much interaction, even if it is just virtual, even if I am just kind of like believing myself. Like me and Tom Segura are not best friends. I laugh at everything that he does on his Instagram page and stuff like that. And he promotes all of his new shows and I go watch him and everything. But like if I saw him on the street, he wouldn't be like, hey man, like I remember you. You've liked all my stuff. Like I notice that every single time. But I think people want that. Like at the end of the day, you see so many interactions on a screen that it kind of tricks your body. And eventually it's like, no, 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 I want the real thing. Like I want substance. I want depth in a conversation. I want to be able to have a conversation about things that human beings have a conversation with, and not just not watch you pluck your eyelashes every single day. Like I want something that's going to be real, you know?
It's crazy, and we can start wrapping up. But people like are missing out on emotional health, and I think that's kind of
100%.
okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I was at a concert last weekend, and this girl was like, there's about 6 singers that came on and wanted this one person. When he got announced that he was coming on, went nuts, went nutty, was so happy, so excited. But he came on, and she stopped dancing. She got her phone out and recorded the whole thing.
Dude,
I'm
I
like,
know.
"You've waited all night for this. Like,
Yeah, to
enjoy the
see him in
moment,
person.
enjoy, like, the
And
vibes."
you're gonna remember that, and honestly, it's so funny. I get in trouble with this all the time. Whenever Graham does something, like, I just wanna watch it. Like, when we go to Texas games or Texas A&M games, um,
Yeah,
I
A&M,
don't like
clarify.
I don't it's just to clarify. My friends hate me right now anyway. Like, I'm just not the one that's like, I wanna watch you do something through a screen, like, watch you do something or anything like that. Like, I don't want it to be a fourth person thing. I want to be able to enjoy those moments and have those core memories in my brain because it's my memory, it's my experience, it's something I'm trying to grow in my child with my friends or anything like that. So I don't think that I need to share that, or more importantly, I don't think I need to store it on this thing that's going to change every 6 years and then I may lose it down the road. And then if I lose it, all I remember doing is staring into that little screen and trying to take in that huge moment that was happening at a stadium full of 100,000 people. So it's like people are, I don't know, it scares me, but I think at the end of the day, I think people are going to get to a point. I think I either said this on the last podcast or before, or anything like that, or read in a book or something like that. Eventually, you're going to have to look at the person in the mirror and you're going to be like, man, I've done so much. I'm making myself better. I have great relationships. I love what I'm doing. I'm deep in my faith and it's really strengthening me. And I'm able to get through these peaks and valleys of life because life's all about adversity, where you're extremely disappointed and you're like, how can I continue to make excuses? I sit around all day. I stare at my screen. I tell myself I'm going to cut down on my phone time and it's still 6 hours a day and stuff like that. And so you're going to get to that point at some time in your life, hopefully, God willing. And I think it's the reason why we got back in our profession. We try to help people see that earlier than we saw it,
Mhm.
because I feel like I saw it at a pretty decent age. But if I can get someone to see it at 17 years old, or I can grow up my 2 boys to make sure that they see this at a much earlier age and they're 10 times the person I am, I think that's how we kind of cleanse this like dopamine society that we have today, because everybody's just trying to get that next fix, and they're truly losing touch to the fact of what is the human experience? What is it about? Why are we here? And it's not to stare in a screen. It's to do stuff like this where we're building relationships. And I truly enjoy being around the people that I love. And this is kind of the reason that we wanted to do this too, is because we don't see each other enough. So this is just another way for us to build that relationship.
Mhm.
But I think people are finally going to, like, I truly think there's going to be a revival of face to face, human to human. I think there's really going to be a restoration of like the faith human experience down the road.
Yeah, and I think I've seen that from you of, like, every time you post a story or something, it's because someone else took the picture and you're just, like, resharing it because and to my wife's credit, like, we're the same person now, but we were not, like, most of my pictures on our Instagram are, like, not me and her because we always forget to take a picture because we were just, like, loving the
Yeah.
time that we have together,
Yep.
and then I looked over, like, one Valentine's Day, and I was I haven't posted a picture and so long of us because we don't take pictures. So now I'm trying to be like more intentional, but not promotional, if that makes
Yep.
sense.
There's actually a study about that. And it's like, I think like 70% of the people that like overpost about their significant other, they actually end up cheating on them. So it's like a defense mechanism. So it's like, don't feel
I'm
like you
glad I
have to be
don't
like
do
super.
that.
Yeah, I was about to say, because like McKenna used to get so mad at me about that, and I heard that on a podcast one time, and I showed her, and I was like, "Hey, I really do love you." Just one of those things, like I like to enjoy time with people, and if I share it with the people that follow me on social media, like awesome. If I don't, it literally does not move my needle on my world 1 inch either way. If this random person that barely knows me anyway, that just happened to hit the follow button, now I appreciate it on Good Times, Bad Friends. That follow button, that like, that subscribe, that listen, that like, and that comment, it goes miles. Some would
Miles,
say all the way to the moon, allegedly, is where we went out of low Earth orbit, but I doubt
kilometers.
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, kilometers, however you want to put it. Hey, honestly, this episode has probably said more about the state of where everybody is than I would say the internet itself.
True.
Like the internet itself is just 8 billion people getting in a freaking slapping match. And I don't want to do that.
Huh.
I just want to create love, and I want to create some followers, and I want to make sure that Summer Moon Coffee is in the best position they possibly can. Thank you for being our sponsor. There's some big news coming about that way. We're going to put some
What?
cards out. We're going to put some one pagers out. We're going to try to work on some legit collaboration ideas. We will be planning the next in-person podcast at Summer Moon. We have it set up. We're going to try to figure out the video thing, but the in-person thing we have figured out. And Collin, I think it's time. Okay. So I think when we get underneath these jokes, I think when we get past the trends and the chaos, I think there's real conversations that we continue to have on Good Times, Bad Friends. I think there's real conversations that people want. You know, we talk about attention, identity, loneliness, validation, how hard it is to actually slow down in today's world. But somehow you guys just keep on logging back in. You keep pulling our episodes up and you keep on listening. We are making progress. I know we had all these big goals and we talk about how we kind of plateaued a little bit. And I would love to get some more information when we get off air and everything. But I feel like people are still listening. People still love us. Like I still get messages all the time.
They are. They
Um,
are. People are tuning in and people are asking to come on at
It's
high
good.
rates.
That's what I love. Like people want to get on, message us, reach out, comment. My wife has been texting me the entire time about the next people that we have to have on, because we just have so much of a wait list right now. Like we don't have anybody backing out on us.
It's
and
kinda
really,
true,
really nice
though.
to be able to have that. I don't no, it is. Like there's a lot of people that have been like, there's almost a lot of people now that are like mad at me. Like whenever we first started, like, oh, you guys are doing a podcast. That's so stupid.
Mhm.
Like, oh, listen to your little podcast or whatever. And they're like, hey, dude, when are you going to have me on the
Why
podcast?
haven't I
I'm
been
like,
on your
when it switches,
podcast?
dude, when it switches to that, I'm like, so now you must be
Yeah.
listening and you're getting a little jealous. But listen, we appreciate y'all for hanging out. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow dang.
Yeah, been there, bud.
No, God, so much harder than it is. Okay. Make sure, follow the show, subscribe to us on YouTube, leave us a rating. Like Collin said in the beginning of the episode, send this episode to a friend, post it on your story, comment, put the fire emoji like I do every single time. Try to get that algorithm freaking spinning up for Good Times, Bad Friends so that we can keep it rolling. But Collin, it's been real, it's been fun, and it's always been real fun. I don't care what the real saying says. That's the way that I'm going to say it.
I
And
love
until
that.
next time, let's keep having some good times with some bad friends.
Dun, 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 dun.
I love our theme song. Dude, our theme song really is super
Good times, bad friends.